Did you know, as of today, update 34 is live, which means Dagath has actually entered the Warframe realm with an alternate helmet, and oh, I would love to show this more than anything else. Dagath's Hollow. Have to use a little bit of dev stream for this one, but this is basically the room you're going to have to build in a dojo to be able to get a hold of Dagath's parts, because all of her parts are only available inside of here, which is a whole interesting thing we'll get onto. But first, upon logging in, you will notice this lovely new thing at the top of the screen that, in typical Digital Extreme fashion, has been so badly placed in the game. It says update 34, even though you can only read about 3/4 of that actual text. Whereas if you come out, yes, it does look nice, it is great to have it there, and if you click on it, it will bring up what used to appear on login. And it's basically a bunch of new features that have been added to the game, which I love. But I wish it was down here somewhere, and it's not. Sadly. Yes, Hydroid's rework is here. More on that in the future. All I'm going to say is, from what they've shown and from what everybody keeps telling me, the damages are going to be better. The way he works is going to just be so much better, and all in all, looking forward to trying that out. Wish this went into more detail though. They turn around and mentioned this whole thing as one of the big things coming in this update. Oh yes, you'll be able to click on this and read all about it, and there it is. The dojo room, Dagath's Hollow. Would really like to be able to see that in more detail, like maybe make that little image full screen. It's a feature that they have added here, but it doesn't really go into much detail, sadly, which is kind of a shame. But then there's this. Oh yes. Sentinels no longer die. Companions no longer have permadeath. They now have what is a respawn timer. So once they die, go down, whatever they want to call this, it will be 60 seconds before they come back. They will now respawn automatically. No more having to down yourself on purpose, then revive before a teammate can come over and try and help you. No, they will revive themselves, which is great. Also, stats look a little bit better. This is an unranked Helios, by the way. As you can see, max rank Helios, 50, 200, then 100, so 50 armor, 200 health, 100 shields. An unranked Helios is exactly the same. You'll notice the base stats between a ranked Helios and a normal Helios are pretty much the same. Yeah, they pretty much are, same as they were before. But yes, they are higher than they were before. Every single companion now has higher stats and will survive better than they ever did before, which is great. If that wasn't a thing that suddenly appeared for some reason. That's better. Oh, respawn time. They do respawn quicker, but this means, yeah, I'm pretty much not running a Sentinel unless I need to do certain things anymore, because, yeah. Even if they go down and go down hard and you can't get over to revive a companion, a Kubro, a Kavat, a Moapet, etc., etc., including the other ones, I will just put it as, yeah, they also now have a respawn timer, but it's quicker than a Sentinel's. But as forementioned, a new Warframe, Dagath, has arrived in Warframe, which is great. I'm kind of looking forward to playing this one, despite what everybody has said repetitively about how bad Dagath looks and everything else. I'm not one for judging a frame until we actually get our hands on it, even if its ultimate ability is to create a wave of Kaith, Ghost Kaith, Phantom Kaith, oh, it actually says it there, that deal viral damage is good to enemies in front of you. It's more the Grave Spirit and supercharges weapons with extra crit damage, the ability to condemn nearby enemies with Doom, and a portion of the damage Dagath deals is revisited upon them by a scythe that comes from nowhere. And then there is Yeah, this one's weird, the first ability, but the big thing is, a first ability that deals damage allows you to level up a Warframe really, really quickly. So I like that one. Passive, on the other hand, 35% chance that energy and health orbs will become 300% more effective on Dagath, who has pretty nice shields, and pretty nice health, and pretty nice armor, pretty nice energy, and a 1.1 sprint speed. She is going to be quite a good frame. Possibly. Again, not judging until I have actually tried it. It's just, that needs to deal a lot of damage, and it does. 15,000 viral damage. Yeah, and a defense, look, defense reduction at the same time. That's why I think this will be a good frame, but I don't know for certain just yet. In fact, I may have used some of this footage earlier. To get Dagath's parts, you need to build Dagath's Hollow, and upon doing so, you will be able to get her parts here. But every single thing in here is fully researched. There's no wait time for it. My clan kind of went a bit nuts on this one, considering this update's like they're almost just gone live. Could you just show me the resource, the build cost for this? Thank you. There's a new resource. Vinethorn. Yeah. They are going to be needed to build every single part of her and her weaponry, because she does come with a new weapon. We'll get onto that a little bit later, but you can modify your Keith from in here, or what did I call you? Hippogriff? Yeah, no, don't mention it. There's a story in here as well. I love the look of this room. We've needed a room like this in here for a long time. But there is, in fact, a story here, and sorry, but I have to try. Oh, of course you can. Can I? I will try that later on. There is a story to Dagath that you see laying on her little tomb here, with other things laid around. This story, I may do a video on it. It will be very spoiler specific, but you go here and you listen to it, the story there. I'm not going in there. I have not seen anything about it yet at all. I'm avoiding that until I actually go in, but yeah, that would explain why Dagath is laying on here. There is a proper name for it, but I'm just going to go with tomb. I wanted to say coffin, but lying on top of it and not inside of it. Now I'm going to see if I can't get out of here through going one of those windows. Clever digital extreme, and also not at the same time, because there is something out there. Let's call that an Easter egg. So anybody still watching at this point who can tell me what that is, I will start to zoom in on it, see if it actually comes into focus at this point. But while recording, don't know what it is. Something is definitely out there, but there's an invisible ceiling there, so I'm giving up at this point. I will return to this later on. To get her parts, basically the Syndicate offerings is the best way I can put this. Because in here is the Abyssal Beacon. You are going to need a few of these. At least one of these. They are tradable and available from every single syndicate. They don't seem to be specific to certain ones, but you can say it. You need it to find the Galleon of Grenier, the Abyssal Zone. It's a whole new mission type. New extermination node, Abyssal Zone, and that is where you will basically get this resource to drop to be able to build her. It is very weird, very annoying. You can only get between 6 and 8 per mission. 8, 11 and 12 on Steel Path, it says down at the bottom. So it's a limited resource you can only basically get by doing these missions. And yeah, the mission types have got, let's call them augments on them, that are going to make this whole thing very interesting. Modifiers is the word I was looking for. I'm going to stick with augments now because I said it, but you need the Abyssal Beacons from a syndicate before you can do any of these, and you have to activate it. You can hear it, it's a verbal thing apparently, but you can hear them actually going off in mission. For some reason, and I do not know why, and I've been trying to work this out, the new Sentinel stuff, the Cavum Sentinel, is in the marketplace, purchasable with platinum. I do love this. It does look like it's going to be quite interesting because the wings are all torn up. The tail is, to be fair, I'll just go for the mask and the wings. Because there's a kunai in a face in the mask. And it comes through the other side as well. That's a nice touch. But, to be fair, for the price of that, it's an extra 5 and you get the tail with it. We'll see. Can't help but notice something slightly. There it is. The new Sandana for the whole Knights of Neighbourus event. Sorry, I'm just looking at this and thinking it does actually look really nice, but I really wish this was inside of the Knights of Neighbourus where it's supposed to be. Because the way they've done it, this is a Sandana. You can wear this and wear the wings at the same time. That would be the wing ephemera. Her signature weapon, Dagath's signature weapon, the Doorclave. It's finally, we have another sword and whip based weapon. This one, it's after 10 kills or assists. It was 20 originally. This actually says in 10. It enters a special state that doubles the weapon's follow through and guarantees status effects. That could be the saving grace on this weapon after looking at the stats for it and going, it has a 0.833 attack speed. It may do 222 slash and have 26% crit and 24% status and a 2.2 times multiplier. It is just a slash based weapon, kind of great in itself. It's going to have a long range. It should have, it's a sword and a whip, but it's got a slow attack speed. Made up simply because after 10 kills or assists, guaranteed status effects for the next 10 attacks. I'm looking forward to trying this one, but as you've seen, all of the parts for this are inside of Dagath's Hollow, a dojo room. I'm glad they're finally showing dojo some love, but if you want to build anything new in this update, you need a dojo. Or do you? There is actually something added in this update you don't need to spend platinum on buying. That's right, Grendel's Prime Access has launched early. Was expecting it at about 2 PM ET. No, it went live pretty much the same time as the update did, which brings Grendel Prime, the Mass-Eater Prime, the Zylok Prime, and let's move on from there because the rest of it you will have to spend real money on. But it would have been nice, you know, if you maybe showed the accessories on him. The difference between Grendel Prime and normal Grendel, bar obviously looking so much better, it's still really bad promotion if you're trying to get people to buy the Prime accessories, not to have them on your frame when showing it off, but 370 armor, 175 energy. Grendel Prime, 400 armor, 200 energy. The health, shields, and sprint speed are exactly the same. The abilities all work the same. Grendel Prime is going to have should have an extra polarity or two, but it's basically the same frame, just better base stats, which means modded for armor, he's going to be quite indestructible. Ooh, it does have a higher total armor damage. The Mass-Eater Prime does 260 total damage. The normal Mass-Eater does 241. So we have 24 and 28. Crit chance has gone up to 26 instead of 24. And status has gone up to 36. Wow, that was a huge increase for status. The attack speed has gone from 1 to 1.08. Okay, Mass-Eater Prime, a pretty good weapon with some nice range to it, has gone from good to better. And visually as well. Let's not sugarcoat that one. Yes, the normal one looks very, very similar. The Prime one just looks more golden. I still think this is just a giant crankshaft, to be honest. The Zylok, yeah, I'm looking forward to the Mass-Eater more, but the Zylok is basically going to go from 8% crit chance, 26% status, 2 times multiplier, try 12% crit chance. It's not a huge improvement, but it is an improvement. 2.4 times crit multiplier, again, it is an improvement, and 36% status. Ooh, kind of big there. It also went from, what was it, 140? Yeah, 140 total damage, being shared basically more on the slash side of things to it's still more on the slash side of things, but it's now 210. Reload seems to be, everything else seems to be almost about the same. To be honest, I never looked at the magazine. Okay, the magazine is bigger. It's gone from 8 to 12. Neighbourous Lotus, 75 platinum. And then when she sends you a broadcast message, she will basically, this is Vampire Lotus. And you can only really use this once you've got to a certain point in the game, but Vampire Lotus. This is something they should allow people to purchase and use prior to doing the new war and everything else. Because, yeah, I've waited 8 or 9 years to be able to have this constantly. Vampire Lotus. Oh, the jokes are endless. Remember when you've got an unmodded frame and it has fairly low stats? Not anymore. Wow, lots of them. 290 armor. Let's just go with the health. 270. Once max rank, it doesn't increase a lot like it used to, because the difference between an unranked frame and a, let's call it a max rank frame, isn't that much anymore. Literally, 370 health, 650 shields versus 270, and because what they've done is, and this is going to be where people, I'm not going to say cry, to be fair, it should probably, but don't you worry, the normal vitality mod, it's still going to be special, it's still going to be useful, it also gives you 100% health. Oh, but the health actually goes up to what he would have had previously, as you can see from their example for Excalibur. Before, it would be 472 max armor, health 740. Yeah, they're still the same stats, but you'll notice armor is actually slightly higher. It's gone from 472 to 480. Some of this has happened, it's just different everywhere else, but it's all across all the frames better than it was before. Yeah, I kind of avoided them because similar kind of thing. You can see more armor, even though the mods are doing the same thing. Arcwing, same thing. Instead of 190 armor, it's 200 armor. The rest of the stats are all staying the same. This is a long way of basically saying, instead of a mod saying 440% and ending up with a number, it now says something like 100, and then you end up with the same number or slightly increased. Mostly on armor. Lenses have been buffed, which I do like. It means that the lower lens is going to be a 5% conversion for focus, because there is, or was going to be, a huge thing about focus in this and the way you earn focus, and all they've done is make it so lenses now give you more focus. Changes to Nightwave that, yeah. They've made every single one of these easier. Convert 10 Riven slivers to create a Riven mod. Now it says exchange 10 for a Riven mod. That's just a change in wording. And a lot of these, instead of sliding to kill 20 enemies, it's now 10. A lot of this won't take effect till next week, though. Oh, and then there's this whole thing that, as we started this with, yeah, you may turn around and show this once Volume 5 actually goes live. They did say that would be next year, by the way. They've actually gone and shown us all of the new things that might be coming next year. Really hope not, because none of that is new. Probably one of my more favourite things that they are actually doing in this update has to come right here. Remember how an Archon, not the Archon hunts missions, the Archon themselves, Burrell, because the active one, after a certain length of time would become nothing more than a bullet sponge. And no matter what you do, basically you're dealing little damage and the missions take longer and longer and longer. Unless you can basically almost one-shot them with that first few hits, they become a pain to take down, because they become immune to certain types of damage. Not immune, their resistance to it goes up. That's gone. Archons are now easier to take out than Grineer or Corpus. Because no matter, if you wish to read this, there will as always be a link in the description below, but basically what this says is the damage caps have been increased, meaning your damage per second has been increased, the maximum damage you can deal over time has been increased, so even when they go bullet sponge mode, you can still slap them senseless. Incarnants can now be edited from this screen. You can literally see, you can click on it and you can edit this. I love this. You can change how you have your incarnants set up from the arsenal. So happy that's a thing. I wish it was a thing when they came out. It wasn't. Now it is. Love that. Then after it basically gets into... where are you? Hydroid's rework. Companion stat changes. Yeah, there it is. It's all the way down the list. Hydroid's rework is something huge that I really want to concentrate more on because it's just, there's so much being changed. He's basically, apparently, like a new frame. And after a prime suit conversion, so you can use it on the Drifter, and support for the Dual Shock 4 and Dual Sense controllers. Why don't you just say PlayStation controllers? Never mind. Also, I'm assuming this is just in Steam, considering it's only showing you how to do that in Steam. No, it's not. Everything else in this update was basically... They haven't touched Warframe since July. The last kind of hotfix was August? Yeah, I think it was the 30th of August. I've mentioned it in the past. I cannot remember the exact date at the minute. It's the 18th of October. A month and a half since they have touched this game. So there is a lot of different things in here that sadly are going to spawn multiple videos. Like a lot of the things that they mentioned that don't seem to be here, as I mentioned yesterday. More information on clan crossplay, please. Cross-clan play, whatever that is called. All the way down, past the Hydroidness to... This has led to... I will just put it as... Explosive barrel changes look good, but I do want to investigate that a little bit more. I just wish there was a way to get explosive barrels to spawn so I can actually do that. This is a long, get the hint, list of fixes that have been added now because they haven't updated the game or done anything to it in a month and a half. Hopefully this is not a trend that Digital Extreme are willing to get into, because a month and a half is inexcusable for Digital Extreme when it comes to Warframe. Just downright inexcusable, because they always used to fix bugs. Now they've just left them for their mainline update to come out, and their next mainline update is December. And with that, we'll leave this off here. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.